Hey guys, welcome to this video. We'll talk about the CARES Act and really explain how do we use this wonderfully powerful federal law to stop a foreclosure in Alabama. My name is John Watts. I'm a consumer protection lawyer in Alabama. And if you prefer to read, or maybe you want to read in addition to watching this video, then go to caresactexplained.com. That'll take you to a page on our website where we have a very detailed article discussing these same issues. So here's what you'll discover in this video. What is the CARES Act? Why does it matter? What loans get the benefit of the CARES Act? And what exactly is that benefit? And how does that stop a foreclosure in Alabama? And not to spoil everything, but let me just tell you, the main benefit is you can get what's called a forbearance, which means you do not have to make any payments for 6 months or even up to 12 months on your mortgage payment. So it's an incredibly powerful benefit. Then we'll talk about the exact steps to take to get the CARES Act forbearance. And then what do you do after you get the forbearance? A lot of times we get whatever it is we're looking for, and then we kind of go, and then we sort of forget about it. Well, there's work to be done after you get the forbearance, so stick around for that. All right, here's a little disclaimer. I'm not your lawyer. You need a lawyer in the state where you live, and I practice in Alabama. So we're going to talk about this law and how it fits in with your mortgage company. And if you are behind with your mortgage company and facing a foreclosure, or maybe you're current, but you know you're going to get behind because of this COVID-19 crisis, that's what this video is for. So why should you watch this? One thing, I've been suing mortgage companies for money damages and suing mortgage companies to stop a foreclosure and even reverse a foreclosure. It's already happened. So it's already been recorded in probate court. There's already a foreclosure deed. Ownership of the house has changed, and we have been able to reverse that or undo that for many, many years. I train lawyers around the country in how to do that. And if you are facing a foreclosure and you're desperately wanting to keep your house, and if you qualify under this law, and that's part of this video is figure out if you qualify, then this may be the most important video you'll watch if you want to save your house from foreclosure. All right, so let's think about peace of mind. If you lose your home to a foreclosure, obviously there's a financial loss. You lose your equity. Equity is you take what your home is worth and you subtract what you owe. So if your home is worth $400,000, you owe $250,000, you got $150,000 in equity. You would lose that money. In 99% of foreclosures, you would lose that money. You lose your peace of mind. Then you have to move. Well, how do you find a new place to move if you have a foreclosure on your record? Kind of hard to do. So the consequences, you know this, the consequences of a foreclosure linger with you for many years. So I think it's worth, however long this video is going to be, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it will be, I think it'll be worth your time to see if this can help you to save your home. All right, so first major point. What's the CARES Act? Why does it matter? Well, this is a huge law that was passed in March of 2020, this year, in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. It stands for Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security. So that's how you get the CARES Act. It's a huge law, but we're just going to focus on one little section of it. But it's so important, such a powerful section. And it says if you have the right type of mortgage loan, you can get a forbearance for up to 12 months. So 12 months of not having to make payments. The practical effect of that is there's no foreclosure if you get the forbearance before the foreclosure in Alabama actually happened. So that's a key. You've got to do it in the right time. All right, so what loans get the benefit of this CARES Act? So let's look at the law first. You see here in this Section 2, federally backed mortgage loan. That includes any loan which is secured by first or subordinate lien on residential real property. So first lien is, what we typically call, that's my first mortgage. Okay, and for most people, that's our only mortgage. But you might have a second mortgage. Well, that's what they mean by subordinate lien. And we're talking about residential real property here. We're not talking about commercial property. And look, this can be individual units of condominiums. It can be 1 to 4 families. And then we're talking about things that are insured by Federal Housing Administration, go down to subsection D, Department of Veteran Affairs. E and F both talk about Department of Agriculture, that'd be USDA. And then G is Federal Home Loan Mortgage Corporation or Federal National Mortgage Association. Okay, what does that mean? Well, let me just summarize it this way. About 95% of all loans that will qualify it's going to be one of these that you see on the screen: FHA, VA, USDA, Freddie Mac, or Fannie Mae. Now, in terms of, let's imagine that there are 100 loans in the U.S. That's all the loans. About 66, 67 of those loans will be one of these. Okay, so 2/3 of loans, mortgage loans on residential real estate, will be these federally backed loans. Okay, now is it FHA, is it VA, USDA, Freddie Mac, Fannie? It's going to be one of those. Okay, so just from pure odds, pretty good chance that if you are falling behind, if you are facing foreclosure in Alabama, that your loan is on this screen. All right, so how do you figure that out? Well, you can look up on Fannie Mae's website and Freddie Mac's website. You can look up and see, is your loan covered? And you can see those links in the description. You can also read the companion article. We've got links there to it. The CARES Act, it's just caresactexplained.com. You can call your servicer or do a chat online with them. And it can be this simple. After you identify who you are and they understand your name, your loan number, all that stuff, say, I need to know if I have a federally backed mortgage that qualifies under the CARES Act for forbearance. It really can be that simple. You can also send some letters to them. That does take some time. Okay, so my preference is to find it online first and then to confirm it with your servicer, or to start with your servicer and just ask them and they'll know. All right, so what's the benefit and how does that prevent a foreclosure in Alabama? Well, again, let's look at the law. It says during the covered period, and the covered period is in effect right now. I'm recording this on May the 11th, I think it is. And it'll go for 120 days after the national emergency is terminated. So the White House will say, we have declared the national pandemic emergency, it's done. Well, this continues for another 4 months. Okay? So a borrower with a federally backed mortgage loan, that's what we just talked about, experiencing a financial hardship due directly or indirectly to the COVID-19 emergency may request forbearance regardless of delinquency status. You can be 6 days behind, 6 weeks behind, 6 months behind, 6 years behind. It doesn't matter. What you do is you submit a request to the borrower servicer, and then you affirm that you're experiencing a financial hardship during the COVID-19 emergency. That's it. Okay. Now, how long does it last? We'll look at subsection 2, duration of forbearance. Upon request, such forbearance shall be granted for up to 180 days. Most mortgage companies are giving you the full 180 days. Some are saying, well, we'll do 90 days and you come back. But you're entitled to a total of 180 days. And then you can ask for an additional 180 days. Okay? And then what we have in the purple is, let me just sort of summarize it. It's saying that your mortgage payment, your principal, your interest, escrow, that sort of stuff, you're going to owe that. You just don't have to pay it right now, but you will owe it. But there can't be late fees on top of that or inspection fees or other things because you're not making your payment because you've been told it's okay to not make your payment. A little side note, we cover this in another video, but the credit reporting has to stay the same. So whatever status you're in when you get the forbearance, during the whole length of the forbearance, your credit reporting is to stay the same. Now, if you're behind, it'll show you behind. If you catch it up in the forbearance, then they have to show you as current. Okay, so let's, again, make this practical. So if you're receiving a forbearance, no foreclosures, you're not required to make any payments. So if you don't have to make any payments, they can't foreclose on you. Now, there will be some incredibly foolish mortgage company that says, we don't buy that. We'll give you the forbearance, but we're still going to foreclose. That will be insane. If that happens to you, please call me because we're going to have a great time suing that company. If you get a forbearance and they say we're foreclosing anyway because you're not making your payments, we are going to hammer that company, okay? So what are the exact steps that you take to receive the forbearance? Well, again, let's look at the law. Upon receiving a request for forbearance from a borrower under subsection B, is what we just looked at, the servicer shall, not optional, not highly recommended, the servicer shall, with no additional documentation required other than the borrower's attestation. Just means you promise, you say, you affirm that you've got a financial hardship caused by the COVID-19 emergency, which practically everybody has that. I mean, maybe Jeff Bezos doesn't, but everybody else can certainly say, I've had a financial hardship due to this. All right, so Here are some 3 steps you can take. Make sure you have federally backed loan. You can ask your servicer. You request the forbearance. And I know it seems very basic, but there are people that they call and check, do I have a federally backed mortgage? Yeah. Well, let me tell you, I've really been affected by this. Oh, well, I'm so sorry to hear that. And then they're not going to get the forbearance because the mortgage company say, well, you didn't ask us. So make sure you ask. Do I have federally backed loan? Okay, I do. I am requesting a forbearance. And if the mortgage company tries to talk you out of it or tells you you're not qualified, just document what they're saying. Because if they're lying about this, again, great lawsuit against them. So you request forbearance, step number 2. Step number 3, you say, I'm attesting, I'm promising, I'm telling you the truth. COVID-19 crisis caused me a financial hardship. That's it. That's all you have to do. Okay. Now, how do you protect yourself? Documentation is the key. You must document what's happening. So if when you call the servicer, they say the calls can be recorded, then consider recording the call. Now, I've talked about this in other videos. You can use an app on your phone. Just test it out to make sure it works. You can have, if you're married, you can have your wife's cell phone there, press the voice memo recording app, dial the number on your phone, speakerphone, so it's recorded, record onto your laptop. I don't care if you do it simple or fancy, just make sure it works and it's understandable. Okay, so test it out. Whatever approach you're using, test it out. And then ask your servicer when they say, you do qualify for a forbearance. Say, okay, what does that mean? I mean, how long will it last? Okay, so get the details. Is there anything else I need to do to qualify for this? And, if you have a foreclosure set tomorrow or next week or next month or 3 months from now, say, now what does this do to that foreclosure that's set? Okay? Because you want them to say to you, the foreclosure will not happen. And look, there's a chance it'll still happen. I mean, I've sued major mortgage companies when, for example, they say, you have to bring us $10,000 by today and we won't foreclose on you. We'll cancel the foreclosure. We take on the money. They still foreclose. Oh, those are great lawsuits. Okay. So if they lied to you and then they foreclose anyway, fantastic lawsuit. If they lied to you by saying they will not stop the foreclosure, again, that's going to be a tremendous lawsuit if they don't correct that. And then follow up the conversation, step number 4, with the certified mail. Send them a letter confirming what you were told and say, if you think I've misunderstood this, go pull the recording and tell me where I'm wrong and explain to me where I'm wrong. You just want to be able to document. So imagine this. You call Mr. Cooper, okay, Nation Star, and they tell you you have a federally backed loan and you say, I want the forbearance. And they say, we'll give you a 6-month forbearance. And you say, what about the foreclosure set next week? They go, we will cancel that. And then you follow that up with a letter. It says, thank you so much for talking to me on May 11th. This is to confirm I have a federally backed mortgage and I'm receiving a 6-month forbearance and the foreclosure set for next week has been canceled. If you think I've got any of this wrong, please go listen to the recording of the call. Explain to me in detail how I got it wrong, because I'm pretty confident that I've got this right. And then they ignore that and they foreclose on you anyway. Oh my goodness. I mean, again, how do they explain that? Okay. First of all, you've got the recording, so you know what was said. And then they got the letter and they didn't even bother to respond and they just took your house. That's crazy. And that will be an incredibly expensive lapse in judgment for them. Okay. So what do you do after you receive the foreclosure? Well, remember, send that certified mail letter. Okay. Mission critical. You got to make sure the foreclosure is canceled. So if your foreclosure is set next week, call that foreclosure law firm. Hey guys, is it canceled? Call them the day up. I just want to make sure you're not doing it. Call them the day after. I just want to make sure you did not do the foreclosure. Okay. Watch your mortgage statements. What are they showing? Are they adding in late fees every month? Are they saying we're having all these inspection fees of your house because you're not making your payments? That would be wrong. Pull your credit reports. You can go to annualcreditreport.com. Normally, you can pull them from each bureau once every 12 months, but for the next year, you can pull them every single week. Incredibly powerful. No charge. Don't have to put in a credit card. You just pull. I would pull them every week and see what's on your credit report for everything, but specifically for this mortgage company. What are they reporting about you? And then make a plan. How are you going to catch up these payments? Okay. You might say, oh, well, I get a bonus in 6 months and it'll be enough. I can just pay off the missed payments. That's great. Or maybe you say, my mortgage payment's $2,000 a month and I'm missing 6 months. So that'll be $12,000. I could pay $1,000 a month for 12 months. Okay. Well, now you've got a plan. When you get to the end of your forbearance, or actually a little bit before, you can talk to them about that. Or you can get a loan modification. That'll be the most common option. Probably 95% of all people after forbearance will apply for a loan modification. And I don't have time to go through all that. We have other videos on that. But you want to be thinking about, okay, I've got to be able to afford my house payment, and there's going to be some extra on it because I'm missing these payments. So I've seen some people in sort of similar context, obviously not under the CARES Act, but similar context, and they stop paying their mortgage and they go buy two, BMWs. And they're like, well, I can't afford my house now. I've gotten used to not. No, you can't do that. Got to make a plan. This is a temporary thing. This is to get you back on your feet because everybody's been shut down with this coronavirus. And so it's not anybody's fault. It's just, we're shut down. And so you've got to understand this is a great benefit the government's giving us, but we have to have a plan for what we're going to do on the other side of this. And look, if your mortgage company's not acting right, they're doing false credit reporting, they're sending you these just terribly wrong mortgage statements, they're foreclosing anyway, whatever it is, you got to take action against them very soon. All right, so what do you do right now? Well, first, figure out if you have that federally backed loan and figure it out on your own or get a lawyer to help you. You can contact your mortgage company to request the forbearance, or you can get a lawyer to help you. Again, I think it's better if you do that. Now, you may still want to hire a lawyer to sort of guide you through the process, but jump on the phone with your mortgage company or do a live chat, whatever your option is for your company, and request that forbearance. Make sure you understand what it means. Confirm the forbearance with a letter. Remember, certified mail. And then take a deep breath. Go, okay, this is great. I'm not going to lose my house. I've got 6 months or 12 months of forbearance. I've got some breathing room. But pretty quickly after that, start working on a plan. How are you going to get back into making payments here? Don't get a forbearance for 6 months and then at the end of the 6 months get another 6 months and then at the end of the 12 months go, oh, well, now I need to think about how I'm going to make these payments. No, you got to be thinking about that now. You have to work on that now. What's the plan to be able to make this work? So if you do this on your own, remember, be persistent, document everything. And if you want some help and you're in Alabama, feel free to contact me, 205-879-2447 or alabamaconsumer.com. If you're outside of Alabama, you can go to consumeradvocates.org, find an attorney. And that'll let you put in your state, even down to your city, and say, I need help with, I think it's called foreclosure or mortgage. You'll see it on there. And whichever route you take, I just wish only the best for you. And whether you're doing it on your own or with an attorney, just understand you will hit some roadblocks. You will hit some challenges here. Be persistent, keep pushing. And if your house is worth saving, if it's worth fighting for, then do whatever you need to do to get to this thing that you're entitled to, which is a forbearance for up to 12 months. So again, wish you only the best. And thanks for watching this video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.